My name's Natalie. I'm 30, and I wish I could go back to that night and bite my tongue before those words ever left my mouth. One sentence. That's all it took. One careless, bitter sentence to unravel 2.5 years of love, patience, and everything we were slowly building. If you've ever compared someone to your past when all they ever wanted was to be your future, drop a comment. I need to know I'm not the only one who made that mistake. It was a Friday, not a dramatic night. No storm, no wine, no loud fight, just us in the kitchen. He was making pasta. He loved doing that. Always said it calmed him. I was scrolling through my phone, sitting on the counter. He looked up and asked if I'd seen the email about his job promotion. I hadn't. I muttered something like, "Oh, that's nice," and went back to my screen. He paused, stirred the pot again, and said, "I thought you'd be a little more excited. This is a big step for me, Nat." And it was. He'd been working for it for months. I knew that. But something inside me, I don't know. I was tired, moody, still bitter from a conversation with my mom earlier about how my ex used to take me on weekend trips and spoil me, and I guess that bitterness needed a place to land. So I looked at Luke, the man who had loved me through my anxiety, who had shown up when I was sick, who had built bookshelves in my apartment without being asked, and I said the worst thing I could have said. "Well, maybe if you were more like Ryan, this would have happened sooner." Ryan is my ex, my cold, calculated, wealthy ex who treated love like a transaction but knew how to impress a crowd. And Luke? He froze. Just like that, the warmth drained from his eyes. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't curse. He just put the spoon down, turned off the stove, wiped his hands on the towel like he needed to clean off the insult, then walked to the hallway. I followed him. "Luke, come on, I didn't mean it like that." He opened the closet and pulled out his overnight bag. "You did," he said, "but it's okay. I finally get it now." "No," I said quickly. "It just came out wrong. I was frustrated. I didn't mean it." He didn't look at me, not once. He folded his clothes, took his charger, and zipped up the bag. Then he said the last words I'd hear from him face to face. "I'm not trying to compete with your past, Nat. I just wanted to build something real, but I can't keep building a home in a heart that still makes space for someone else." He walked to the door. And just before he left, he turned the knob, stepped out, and slammed it behind him. No shouting, no dramatic exit, just a quiet, final sound. I stood there for a few minutes, stunned. I thought he'd come back, maybe once he cooled off, maybe in the morning. But morning came, and he didn't. At first, I told myself it was temporary. We'd had little arguments before, never like this. But still, couples fight, right? But one day passed. Then 2. Then I saw his toothbrush was gone. His favorite coffee mug wasn't on the shelf anymore. That's when it started to sink in. He wasn't just cooling off. He had left, for real, and I couldn't even blame him because I knew exactly what I had done. See, Luke never asked me to forget Ryan. He just asked me to stop measuring him against someone who never truly loved me. And I couldn't, or wouldn't. I'm not sure anymore. All I know is that Luke was trying to love me for who I was, and I punished him for not being someone else. A week later, I sent him a voice message. It took me 37 tries to get it right. Not perfect, just honest. I said, "Luke, I'm sorry, not just for what I said, but for how I made you feel all this time. Ryan had money, sure, but he never saw me. You saw me, all of me. And I made you feel like that wasn't enough. That's on me." He didn't reply. I waited another day, then another, and finally, after 10 days of silence, he texted, "You don't need to apologize. I just need peace. And I couldn't find it with you anymore." That text shattered me, because it wasn't angry, it wasn't spiteful, it was just honest. Like he had loved me enough to walk away without hatred. And somehow, that hurt more. Now it's been 2 months, and I still check my phone every morning. Not because I think he'll come back, but because I still want him to. I see him in little things, the way I tie my robe, like he used to when he got cold, the way I overcook pasta, because he always took it off the stove too early, the way I still sleep on one side of the bed. leaving space for someone who's no longer mine. I don't miss the idea of Luke. I miss Luke, the man who remembered how I like my tea, who listened to me ramble about books he'd never read, who stood quietly behind me at family dinners when I felt overwhelmed, and I let him go, because I couldn't let go of someone who didn't even deserve to be remembered. If you're watching this, if you're in a relationship with someone who shows up, who tries, who stays through the quiet, dull, unglamorous days, don't make them feel like second place. Don't wait until they're gone to realize they were always the better choice. Because sometimes the door doesn't slam out of anger. Sometimes it slams out of self-respect. And if they leave for that reason, they don't usually come back.